Zomboys.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 3 of Zomboys.
Woohoo!
Yeah, this is, well, we'll get into it, but, my name's Casey Lynch with my co-host.
Michael Svey, as always. Welcome to episode 3, The Phantom Menace.
Yep, the best out of the series. So today we watched, one of your favorites.
Hands down, one of my favorite zombie movies of all time. A little movie called Dead Alive. A movie that, honestly, is pretty hard to get your hands on nowadays.
Yeah. You struggled to find this movie.
I found it. I had to buy it on Amazon, on DVD. No place streams it. I saw it years ago.
Yeah, I was curious. When did you see this? Because that's kind of what we... Yeah. So,
I saw this movie probably about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Me and my dad sat down and watched it, and it was fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
I don't know. If I saw this movie 10 years ago when I was like a younger man, I don't know if I would have had the same reaction as I would now. I won't say how I felt yet, but the yelling so far might have given it away.
Let's start with one. This is a zombie movie directed by none other than Mr. fucking Lord of the Rings himself.
Yes,
Peter Jackson.
This is one of his first directed movies.
It's his second movie ever made. Came out in 1992.
Real different from his other works.
It's 10 times better than any of the fucking Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh yeah. Well, they're equal, but for many different reasons. Oh boy. I don't even...
Do yourself a favor. If you're going to watch this movie, make sure you watch the unrated version.
Yes.
If you're in the United States, that's the version that we watched. The rated version cuts down on a lot of the gore, cuts about 15 minutes out of the movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there was a rated version,
There is in the United States.
There's no way it's longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, there is in the United States, and they cut about 15 minutes out of this movie.
That's surprisingly a small amount to cut out for this movie. It is. Here's what you said to me before we recorded. You texted me and said, "Are you ready to see one of the most gory movies ever made?" And I was like, "Okay, that sounds hyperbolic, you know, the Saw movie, shit like that it's super gross and graphic and whatever." So I was like, "Okay, he might just be misremembering or something," but nope, you nailed it, fucking right on the head. This was probably the goriest movie I've ever seen. It is grotesque. It's disgusting. And I will say now, it is fucking wonderful.
There was quite a few times I saw you kind of shy away from the screen with some of the shit that was going on.
Oh boy. I literally, like a little girl, covered my eyes at points and was like, oh god. And, I felt a little sick at points. I felt like, why are they doing this to me? But at the same time, was, half smiling, half mouth agape, oh, God.
So, real quick, the plot of this movie, according to IMDb. A young man's mother is bitten by a Sumatran rat monkey. She gets sick and dies, at which time she comes back to life, killing and eating dogs, nurses, friends, and neighbors. And the tagline to this movie, because it is a horror comedy movie, I will preface it by that as well, is "You'll laugh yourself sick."
Yeah, that's... I was at points a little upset that I'd eaten before this, because I wish I didn't have food in me myself, or else I would have... I was close to vomiting about a half dozen times. Which I was genuinely worried. I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to be sick. We might have to pause this movie.
And it has a 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb, so we're not the only... crazy people that feel this way.
If you watch this movie, you're probably gonna like it. If you listen to this podcast, you're probably gonna like this movie.
Try and find this movie.
This movie. It
more so even than I'd say Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies.
Yeah, that was fun.
I liked that movie. It wasn't a bad movie. That was our previous episode. If you haven't listened to it, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
stop skipping episodes. Go back and listen to that one.
Please listen to them all. We gotta get those hits, man. We gotta get those subscriptions. Oh yeah, so this is our first record after posting. We finally posted stuff up. It's on whatever. I'll get into that in Plex or whatever. But this was our first record after after finally, putting our stuff out there. So I was like a little more nervous to record this time, but man, this was the perfect one to just take away my nerves and make me feel something.
And
yeah, let's
get into, I guess, what the fuck are these things first.
We have our segment, what the fuck are these things? And this is gonna be tricky.
It's gonna be hard because
there's no rules.
There's not really any rules. No rules are really followed. I guess it's an infection, but then they are also dead bodies risen from the grave.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like mysticism about it too.
There's a ton of mysticism about it.
Yeah.
So I guess it's semi-infection, semi-dead bodies risen from the grave.
Yeah.
Because one of the zombies at one point in the movie gets its head ripped off, and that's how it turns into a zombie. Not bitten or anything. Yeah. Just head gets ripped back, almost like a soda can tab. It just pops right backwards.
Oh, and, the nurse?
Yeah, the nurse.
Oh,
and then all of a sudden, she just turns into a zombie. She was never bitten.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. There was so much shit. So maybe she wasn't bitten.
No
maybe
really
I don't know.
Rules followed in this movie. Just tons of zombies. So yeah, they are Romero-style shambling zombies.
Mostly.
Except for
our favorite zombie. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, except for our favorite zombie. So
who has the best scenes.
They are more of a Romero-style shambling zombie.
Talk about what they eat.
Food and people.
Yes. After our first record, we listened back and you said, what zombie movies do they eat food?
This I completely
and
forgot
you forgot about this one because they fucking eat food.
Yeah, they eat food and people in this one. Steak, pudding, their own ears.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh man. What else? Oh yeah. So
macaroni and cheese.
Yeah. So, we also say, can other creatures be infected? It seems like anything can. I mean, obviously the rat, monkey, zombie thing.
Carried the infection. And this rat monkey zombie thing looks like a fucking...
It's so cheesy.
It's crazy looking. It's like a claymation rat monkey. And the explanation of how this thing got made was that giant rats ended up on this island and raped all the monkeys on the island, and that's what created these rat monkeys.
So that's the kind of movie we're talking about right now, is that.
The zookeeper's like, well, it's only on one island. Giant rats ended up there and raped all the monkeys.
Yeah, oh my god. It's just insane. Should we get into the plot now? Or do you have more?
Oh, well, we have a couple more things. So how do you kill them?
Oh, yeah.
This, apparently liquefy them.
Yeah.
Some got their heads cut off. Some of them got stabbed in the heads with things.
Yeah.
Still walking around.
Nothing kills them, pretty much.
Yeah, nothing kills them until they get liquefied, pretty much.
You have to just eviscerate them. That is the only way, which is the best scene. It's at the end. We'll talk about it then. It's the best fucking scene. It's amazing.
It's so fucking good.
It's so good.
I love this movie so much.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, so you gotta, eviscerate these zombies in order to kill them.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That's really it for what the fuck are these things.
Yeah, that's normally way more structured, just like, oh, what do they do? What's this? This is just...
It's all over the place. There's no rules.
Yeah.
There were no rules for this movie.
There really wasn't any rules.
Peter Jackson, sat down with his friends. I feel like they were drunk. And they were like, I'm gonna make a fucking zombie movie. And they're like, well, what are we gonna do? He's like, I don't know, there's gonna be fucking zombies in it. And,
yeah, we don't need to describe it.
I mean, it'll just have tons of gore and...
It'll just be fucking insane and people will love it.
They started shooting it and they're like, nobody's really good at acting in this movie, so they're like, just make everybody act over the top. That'll cover it up.
I don't know. I think they were great at acting. Peter Jackson, obviously, he knew what he was making. He wasn't like, this isn't a good, bad movie. This is a good, insane, almost a parody.
He knew it was going to be a bad movie because they made this movie for a budget of $3 million, which is not very much.
Sure. Well, in 1992, it's a little more.
In 92, it's a decent amount. This was his second movie ever.
Plus, he was a lesser, he wasn't as big as he is now. So he might have had this vision, and they might have been like, we don't know, we're not going to throw $50 million at you. We'll give you a small budget.
On the plus side, in the United States, it made $242,000.
Oh, no.
That was it.
Oh, no, that's so depressing.
It made $242,000 in the USA.
There are Blu-rays, so they did re-release it.
They did re-release it. This is, I guess, the original gross USA box office. And you figure when this was released in the U.S., the runtime originally was 104 minutes. Okay. They cut it down to 85.
Okay. So
all the best just
parts.
About 20 minutes of the movie cut out.
Yeah.
And I have read it's most of the gore.
Which is like...
That 85 minutes is a heavily cut version for the United States.
Yeah, and that would kind of ruin the movie for me if it cut out the gore. I mean, there was a lot of fun parts, too.
If the gore wasn't in this movie would not be good. No, I would not like it.
I would be like, oh, okay, there's some funny stuff.
Yeah, it would be a subpar zombie movie.
Yeah, like, a lot of the laughs I got at was the way they use music so dramatically. Oh, yeah, well, we were saying, like, you know, every actor is, like, over the top. Every line is, like, the most dramatic.
Oh, it's the most dramatic.
So
all the camera
I think
angles
it's on purpose.
Are super fucking dramatic looking.
Yeah. It's just like insignificant things, and then like a super close up with like this dramatic face, and this the music like swells like dramatically, and it's supposed to be like dramatic, but it's funny. If you've ever seen Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead movie from the 80s. Oh yeah.
A lot of the close up shots are like the shots that they do on Ash's face in the original Evil Dead, where it's like a super close up of him making a crazy face.
Yeah.
That's what they did with their main character Lionel in this movie.
Yeah. Oh boy.
So
the
movie starts with they go on this island, and it starts with a scientist guy, like a zoologist, and like a stereotypical like Rastafarian man, but not with dreads.
Yeah,
he just speaks. He's like, "Hey man, we have to get out of here."
Yeah, this was so weirdly racist. Like it just felt because I wasn't even sure what accent it was.
Yeah, it was.
It was just like
it was definitely supposed to be like an Islander accent. I think.
I'm sure they were like, "Can you do Jamaican?" And then he's like, "Kind of," and they're like, "That's fine. That's perfect, actually."
And they're running with this. They're running with like this crate.
Yeah.
This bamboo crate, and now they get surrounded by the natives.
Yeah. Like tribal, they have like, you know, mud on their face, like face paint and stuff, and they have spears.
And the guy, the zoologist, pulls out a piece of paper. He's like, I have a permit to take this.
They were like
these fucking people who can't read. They're tribal guys with spears and shit. They can't fucking read. They don't know what the fuck a permit is.
I got a permit.
He's like, a permit. This movie also takes place in New Zealand.
Yes.
Well, so everybody has like Australian, New Zealand, Kiwi accents.
New Zealand. Which we just tried to do, which clearly we can't do.
Which turned out British, but you know, they were all criminals from England anyway, so that's fine.
On that happy note.
So he's like, I have a permit. And they all freak out on him.
Yeah, because they're saying, you can't take that off the island. It's, you know, it's bad. Don't do that.
But the way they're saying it is in clicks and, like, fucking gibberish.
But
they're just like,
yeah, but apparently the other guy can speak it. I guess that's why they're there. I don't know.
Whatever. So he pulls out a machine gun from under his coat and just shoots it in the air to scare these people away. And then is like, this thing's coming back with me to the zoo! And then he breaks the handles off the crate, throws it on his shoulder, and goes, come on! And he runs down the mountain with this thing.
He's running to a truck, and he goes, start the engine!
Almost like Indiana Jones.
I was thinking that. It's like a ridiculous Indiana Jones ripoff, but way worse.
Jumps in the back of this truck. The other guy is running after him. The Jamaican accent guy is running after them.
Yeah.
He's in the truck. The crate turns over on his face.
On the
scientist's face, on the zoologist's face, and he kind of pushes it off. The truck goes like, I don't know, like 50 feet. Yeah, they're only like 200 feet from where all these native guys are. They're not very. It's not like it was like 20 minutes later.
Yeah,
it was within a span of like 10 seconds. This all happened.
Yes, and they had picked up the Jamaican kind of man.
So this crate turns over on him, and he's like. He says, what the fuck's the word he says?
He
says,
it's in some native word.
Pretty much he's bitten. And he's bitten
like
on the
bite.
arm. So he grabs the guy, shoves him out of the truck onto the ground.
He kicks him in the face and kicks him off the car.
Gets him on the ground, pulls out like this sugar cane knife.
Yeah, it's like big, like, type of hatchet type thing.
And,
they point and he's like, they say the word, but then it's like, bite.
And cuts the guy's hand off. Because it's his hand that they notice is bitten first. They cut the guy's hand off. He's bleeding all over the place. Then they see his other arm's bit.
And they're like, bite.
They say bite. And they cut off his arm. And then they see he's bitten on the face. And they go, bite. And they cut off the guy's fucking head. The blood splatters on the screen. And then up comes our title. of Dead Alive.
Oh, perfect.
Also known as Brain Dead in other markets.
Yeah.
Everywhere else in the United States, if you're listening
boy.
someplace overseas, you'll know this movie as Brain Dead. Dead Alive was the United States title. That is the opening. It was fucking fantastic.
That's the perfect way to open this movie.
So now, these Jamaican guys, there's like 3 or 4 of them now.
Yeah.
They are selling this crate to the zoo on like the airplane.
Yeah, it was like a military guy though, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was like the captain of like the thing.
Oh.
He was wearing like an airline captain's
you're
hat.
right. That makes sense.
And so they sell this thing to
Which
them.
they know is super dangerous.
Yeah, they obviously know, but so they sell it and
Like whatever, just come
ship
cash.
it off to the thing. And we haven't seen the rat monkey yet.
No, we have not.
We don't even know what it is yet.
Yeah,
we just know
it's like a monkey.
Yeah, we just know
for
it was
the
some
zoo.
sort of monkey. They say it's a Sumatran monkey. We don't know what the fuck it looks like yet. Nor do we need to, honestly.
Yeah, no,
The reveal is fantastic.
The reveal was everything.
Peter Jackson, you are a fucking maestro
Yes.
of craziness.
Yeah.
So
Oh man.
now we go to the town.
I wish when he did the Hobbit movies, he made them more like this.
I wish that the Hobbit movie was just this movie.
Just
he was like, fuck it, I'm releasing this again. Let's see how this does in theaters. Because this was better than the last 2 Hobbit movies.
Yeah, it would have done well. Oh man.
So now we go to the town, and there's like this Spanish lady.
Oh yeah, she's like running a little convenience store in this small town or whatever.
Yeah, and like this handsome guy comes in. She's like, she takes off her thing. Now this movie, I did not realize until about halfway through. It takes place in 1957.
Yes, they do say that in the opening.
Did that? I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, they said that in the opening.
They say it in the opening. So it's taking place in 1957, and this girl's wearing like this slutty dress for 1957.
Yeah. She's got like a lab coat on, and then when this like handsome big hunk comes in, she's like
takes it
ooh, like dramatic.
She
and
like takes it off and like drops one of like the straps on her chest down.
Unbuttons a button or two. You don't have to actually do it. just for listeners at home, Mike is wearing a tank top and he actually like pulled it down like seductively. Like, relax, man. We're doing a podcast. Okay, we're busy.
So she does that, and she's talking to this guy, and this guy's not interested at all.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that's a nice dress. Okay, bye.
And this old gypsy woman comes up.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you're really attracted to him, aren't you?
Yeah.
And so now they go in the back room, and she's doing tarot cards.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you'll know. She's like, oh, here's you, and then here's the person that you're going to fall in love with.
She's like, it's not him.
It's not him. And she's like, you'll know him by this symbol. And it's a symbol of the sun, or a star and the moon.
Yeah.
And then she's points to like this other card that the lady drew, and she's like, oh, don't worry about
it
that.
said something. I don't remember what word, but it was something, and she was like...
Oppression.
Oppression,
yeah. It was oppression, and she was like, oh, don't worry about that.
She's like, is it bad? She's like, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
And now a guy walks into the store. Her father, who's back there, sends her out front to deal with this guy. And this guy's a complete fucking nerd. He's knocking all kinds of shit over on the shelves.
It's Lionel.
It's Lionel, our main character.
And it's funny, because he's like looking at something, and she walks up to the counter, and she like bangs on the counter and is like, can I help you? I'm like, yes, he's looking in your shop.
And so he walks up and hands her a thing, and he's like, oh, this is the list. And he's like, my mother says pack the biscuits on top this time so they don't get crushed. She doesn't want any broken biscuits. And he's like, oh, and also I'll take one of these. And he goes and grabs something off the counter, knocks everything all over the fucking place.
He knocks everything. And he goes to pick it up, and she stops and grabs his hands and pulls his hands away
because
to reveal
there's the symbol.
the symbol,
there's
the stars
symbol
and
of the star and the moon. And now all of a sudden she's infatuated with this fucking nerd who she hated 2 seconds beforehand.
She is now in love with him. Their love story is not there. There is no love story.
She fucking hated this guy 2 minutes before this happened.
Yeah, 2 seconds before.
Yeah, exactly. And now she's like, oh my god, I love this guy.
Yeah.
So she says something. He runs out of the store.
Yeah.
Almost gets hit by a fucking tram, and then grabs onto the pole at the back of the tram, and it pulls him on board, and he like gets shoved on board.
Oh man.
So now we go to Lionel's house and we meet his bitch of a fucking mother.
Oh my, she's a monster.
His mother is a fucking controlling bitch.
Yeah. She is like the mother in Psycho.
But not dead.
Except she is really
not dead.
Spoilers for Psycho. but you've had some time to see it, so...
Hashtag spoilers for Psycho.
Yes, we'll put that in the... No, we're not going to put that in the description.
If you haven't seen Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock, it came out in, like, the fucking 60s.
Yeah.
You're a fucking loser.
Yeah.
So,
or you don't need to see it now.
Yeah, or she was dead the whole fucking time.
Yes.
Norman Bates was a psycho.
Yeah.
Hence the title.
Yes.
So...
now I get it!
Now-
Now it makes sense. Psycho. Okay.
So we meet this mother, and she's a complete fucking asshole.
She is so, really just fucking being so horrible to him. Like,
yeah, and she's like, I'm having company come over. I'm getting...
She's like, I'm getting into the women's league of something. It's like some silly, goofy name.
Silly, goofy name.
She's
She's like, this house is a mess. The house is fucking super clean and
Yeah.
immaculate. And she's like, do you call that a well-kept front lawn? Because he's like, I just mowed the lawn yesterday. The lawn is fucking perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So
So
he goes out and he mows the lawn. And, the woman from the store comes in.
Paquita.
Paquita, that's the woman from the store, the Spanish woman.
Yes.
Comes up, and she's talking with him outside.
He's like, oh, doesn't your mother normally bring the groceries? And she's like, oh yeah, but I decided to bring them.
She has a big fucking dog with her. It's a big German Shepherd.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, if that thing was any bigger, it would belong in a zoo. And she's like, go to the zoo? And he's like, what?
Yeah.
And she's like...
there was a kind of a miscommunication, and
she's like, I would like to go to the zoo. And he was like, okay, like, it's a date. Like, I'll pick you up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And his mother's creeping out the fucking window looking at him. And it gets, like, pissed off that they're talking. And she smashes a vase inside.
Yeah.
And
he comes in and she starts yelling at him about it. Like,
she's like, if you were better with your dusting, I wouldn't have smashed this vase.
Yeah.
And... he's like, I'll get you a new one. He's like, no. She's like, that was the last gift from your father for our last anniversary before he died.
Yeah.
So...
oh, man.
Now he goes to the zoo with this woman.
Yeah.
With Paquita. And they go to the zoo and they see all the normal shit.
They're having a nice time.
And so now they're over by the monkeys.
She's like, oh, the monkeys. Let's go see the monkeys.
Well, even before that... he sees water and he freaks out.
Yeah.
He sees water and just gets like a dead stare in his eyes, and you see like a flashback to like a hand in water, and she's like, what's the matter? And he says, my father, I almost drowned when I was a kid. My father jumped in to save me, and then a big wave came and swept him away and he drowned. So now we know how his father died.
Yes.
So now they go over by the monkeys. Then after that happens, they go over by the monkeys and they start making out.
Yeah.
It's like this super sad moment, like where you find out where his dad died.
Oh no, my dad died.
And you
but
think
the
she
cute
would be,
monkeys.
And you think she would be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Nope. She's like, fuck that. Let's go by the monkeys. Let's make out. So over by the monkeys, making out. And one of the monkeys throws an apple at them.
Yeah. And so she takes it and throws it back, and it goes through, but then on the flip side, it shows the apple hitting the bars and falling down. So so they couldn't get someone to throw it through. They actually had to have someone in there like throw it because it wouldn't make sense for it to hit the inside of the bars.
So they...
this is where it's gonna get good.
So,
it's about to get good, people.
So the monkey goes to go pick up the apple, and then it gets fucking punched in the face. And you're like, what the fuck happened there? And something grabs the apple, and now it zooms out, and it's the fucking crazy rat monkey.
It's so crazy looking.
That is crazy, like terrible claymation.
Yeah, crazy claymation.
But fantastic claymation at the same time.
This.
And like it goes to go eat the apple, and it's like, nah, fuck this, and throws the apple away, grabs the monkey that it just punched in the face arm through the bars, and rips its fucking arm off.
Starts pulling and tearing
it. Eats the fucking arm.
Man.
And then,
so of course they're freaking out.
So they're freaking out, and now a zookeeper comes over, and he goes, oh, poor thing, and he goes inside and gets the dead monkey that had its arm ripped off, and is holding it, and then tells the story about how that monkey came to be because it was raped but because its ancestors were raped by rats.
Yes. And the whole time he's telling this story, blood is dripping off the monkey onto Paquita's shoes.
right onto her shoes. And,
and
he's like, he's like these damn things. And so now Paquita and the main character, Lionel, go and they're sitting on like a bench, like talking. And now his mother's creeping through like the bushes.
You see her hand like
you see like her hand peel away bushes. And now she's like spying on them, and then she gets bit by the rat monkey.
Yeah, she like, leans back and accidentally puts her hand on the cage, and the rat monkey bites her, and she freaks out. And he's like, "Mother?"
She freaks out. She goes, "Ah!" And he goes, "Mother?" And then she knocks the monkey on the ground
Oh, yeah.
and fucking stomps on this thing's fucking head until its eyeballs pop out
Yeah.
and it's fucking bleeding all over the place. This thing has like a gallon of blood in it, just all over the fucking
She
place.
is just
Its
stomping
eyeballs
it like
popped out.
over and over.
People are looking at her like horrified. One guy's taking pictures.
Yeah.
One guy has a camera taking pictures of what's going on.
Well, oh, of course you would.
And
Oh
fucking
my God.
the zookeeper comes over, almost like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
This
and
is
she's like, "Look, it ravaged me and my dress."
Yeah.
And she has like this bite on her arm, which doesn't look that bad at the time.
Yeah, it looks fine. If this was just an animal, it'd be fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
exactly. So now they go back to the house. A nurse comes. Well, first the Paquita comes up and she shoves Paquita away.
Oh yeah,
like a complete fucking asshole.
this is when the music is great because she shoves her and it's like dun dun dun.
Yeah, because it's like okay, like solidifying that like
It's so not dramatic,
yeah,
but
solidifying that like this woman does not want any other women around
Yeah.
Lionel. So now they go. She's like, "Oh, you'll take care of me." So they go. A nurse comes over. They wrap it all up, and she's like, "Oh, you'll take care of me, Lionel." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "If you need anything while you're asleep, let me know." The lights go out in the room as he leaves, and she just gets like this fucking asshole look on
yeah,
her
she
face.
like gets so mad.
It's insane. She's like going to sleep, and she looks pissed off at everything in the fucking
Yeah,
world.
and she says something about like you don't see Paquita anymore or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's something like I'm sure she did.
Yeah, it was something like that. Something like you can't see her anymore, which is like
Like
weird.
no banging that Spanish broad.
He's like 35 or something.
Easily.
Yeah.
He's like in his late 20s, early 30s.
He's a full-grown man.
He's not like 17.
Yeah.
He's-
But I mean, I guess living with his mother, he would be just ruined.
So he goes in his room, and Paquita's fucking outside, out in the lawn.
Yeah.
She's going, Lionel!
She has his
Lionel!"
coat.
And he goes outside, and she's like, "I have your coat." And he's like, "Shh, shut the fuck up." Not in those
Yeah,
exact
yeah.
words.
He's like,
but
"Shh, be quiet,
He's
be
like,
quiet."
be quiet, because his mother's trying to sleep.
She's
and
like,
he doesn't wanna
"What?"
talk. She's like, "What?" And he's like, "Okay, wait."
So he makes
And makes her come up like this ladder up to his thing, and she's like, "Oh, here's your coat." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "Is that it?" And he's like, "Well, thank you, I guess."
yeah.
And he invites her inside the room.
Well, first he says like, "Oh, I can't see you anymore. It's because of mother or something like that." And then she starts walking away, and he's like, "No." And then
They come in the room, and then they bang.
Yes.
They don't show it, but they're like making out on the bed.
And while this is happening, it is the Paquita,
gypsy.
yeah,
Yeah, the
Paquita's
gypsy
like grandmother or whatever, like with her hair down all crazy, like doing the tarot cards, and it's like
Death.
it like shows like the
all
two
these
lovers
things.
first, and then it's like death and all this sort of terrible stuff,
All like this terrible things
like
in the
intercut
tarot
between
cards.
like tarot cards, the Paquita and Lionel making out, and the mother, and like her wound like festering.
Yeah, and then she has like this like crazy medallion, which is the symbol of the moon and the star.
Yeah.
And she holds it up to like a candle, and like she says some shit.
Yeah.
And now it's the next morning, and Lionel's mother's arm
He goes in, he's like, "Oh, what a beautiful day, mother."
is insane. Her arm has like a giant hole in it,
Yeah.
and a big fucking like softball-sized thing that's just
Yeah.
pulsing in her arm.
And it shoots out a giant liquid of pus.
Yeah.
All across the wall. One of the first of many disgusting things.
And he's like, "Well, we should get the nurse back here." So she's like, "No, you'll take care of me, Lionel."
Oh
and
my
then
God.
the doorbell rings.
Yeah. Oh no, but they show him like trying to clean it up.
Yeah.
And it's just like this gross open wound that this is like one of the first times I probably like shied away from seeing the screen because it was just terrible.
So the doorbell rings, and it's the woman and her husband that are supposed to be like honoring his mother to join like this woman's league.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, it's the woman's league," and she's like, "Get my dress."
Yeah.
And she like comes out of bed like all shambling and stuff,
She's got,
and like
welts
tries
on
to
her
put on
face
like
and stuff.
makeup, but then part of her face rips
Yeah,
off.
it tears off a little corner, like a little bit of her face.
And he's like, "Listen, I'll tell them to go away." She's like, "No, it's that woman's league."
Yeah.
And he gets like glue
Yeah,
out of like a cabinet and glues like regular glues her face on, and she goes to like help him, and he's like, "No, it'll go on crooked if you touch it."
Yeah, this is so insane to immediately just be like, "Okay, I'll glue your skin back on your face so you can talk to the women's league."
So he glues the skin back on. They get dressed and whatever. And now it cuts to they're in like the dining room having lunch.
Yeah.
And the mother is talking like she is a deaf person.
Yeah. Yeah, she is, like, sitting at the table, like, totally out of it, just, like, clicking her silverware, like, just,
And they're talking to her, and she's like, woman, please.
Yeah.
And you're like...
Oh, that's what you meant?
You're like, yeah, that's exactly what I meant, because that's how she was talking.
Yeah, her voice was, yeah, it was bad.
So...
It was clearly something's wrong with her.
Yes, clearly something's wrong. To the point that she grabs a steak off the other woman's thing and starts eating it just like in her hands. Yeah, and Lionel goes, why don't you have some more beans? And scrapes the beans off his plate. And the husband goes, I'll take some of those beans. Like, this movie's fucking weird.
Oh my god.
And
the woman's like, oh, we should go. And he's like...
And the husband's like, no pudding?
Not without pudding?
He's like, no pudding?
So Lionel goes and he comes back. He's like, oh, we only had custard. He's like, I haven't had a good custard in years.
So now they're sitting down eating this custard, and the mother squeezes the weird lump on her arm and shoots the fucking liquid
pus
into his custard. The wife sees this.
Yeah, she sees it.
And he takes a big scoop and eats it. He's like, oh, good creamy custard.
Yeah.
And the wife sees it and looks like she's going to throw up, but she never fucking warns him that there's weird shit in his fucking custard. Yeah. And the mother's ear falls off in the custard.
That's when the mother's ear falls off into the custard, and she scoops it up with a spoon and sticks it right in her mouth and starts chewing it. And
now the woman freaks out, runs out in like the hallway like she's gonna throw up, and the husband's like, "Oh, she can't take food, can she?"
Yeah, it was so weird.
And they leave.
So they leave, and the mother spits out her earring.
Yeah, spits out her earring, and now it cuts to Lionel scrubbing the floor with what I can only assume is shit all over the floor. It was brown, like somebody shit their pants and just ran across the floor.
It was so weird.
And he's just scrubbing the floor, and Paquita comes in.
Yeah.
Paquita comes in with her dog.
Yes.
And her dog runs upstairs, and you hear like a commotion upstairs, and she runs upstairs after her dog, and has like this horrified look on her face. And Lionel comes in around the corner, and she goes, there's a big like tail hanging out of the mother's mouth, she goes, she ate my dog. And he goes, well, not the whole dog.
Yeah, as he's pulling it out, she says that, and he pulls out like a little bit of the dog.
And he goes, well, not the whole dog.
And the room is just covered in blood.
Covered in fucking blood and viscera. And now the mother gets up and attacks Lionel.
Yes.
And he, like, struggles with her. They fall down the stairs. He ends up down at the bottom of the stairs, and he's like, go get the nurse, because his mother's really sick.
Yeah.
So they go get the nurse, and the nurse comes back, and she goes, oh, I'm sorry, your mother's dead.
Yes.
There was nothing that we could do. She didn't even try to do anything.
Yeah.
Because at first, she's like, oh, we'll get her to the hospital. They send Paquita upstairs to, like, get stuff like an overnight bag.
Yes.
And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, there's nothing you can do. Your mother's dead. And he's like, oh, my God. He's sitting there, like, crying. And then all of a sudden, the mother gets up, grabs either side of the nurse's head,
my God,
and fucking rips it backwards.
Oh, just
like a fucking Pez dispenser.
Just pulls it so hard and snaps it back.
It was like a Pez dispenser.
Her head is just hanging off. Her head is hanging off. And this wasn't the worst scene, but because of this, there are some of the worst scenes. So
the head is flipped back like a fucking Pez dispenser. Yes. And Lionel and his mother are now fighting, and he knocks her into like the radio in the other room. It starts playing like an old timey like radio show where like it's like a story being told.
Yeah, and I'm sure if we like listened to it better, it would sync up with what was happening.
And she's choking him, and now
Paquita's upstairs looking at the toothbrushes. And there's two of them, so she goes to the banister. And she yells down, and she says, there's two of them. Is it the white one or the green one?
And now he gets her hands off of his throat. Instead of yelling, help me, he goes, it's the green one. And then continues to get choked. And she's like, oh, okay, and goes to the other room. And now they go into, now he battles back, gets her over by the, there's a pedestal with like a vase on it.
Yeah.
And smashes her in the head with the vase.
Yeah.
But that times up with the radio show where a vase also gets smashed.
Yeah.
So she doesn't think anything of it, and she like steps out for a second and is like, that's weird, but then hears the radio show and she's like, oh no, it's just part of that.
Yeah.
At which point now the nurse is now a zombie.
Yes, the nurse gets up and she is a zombie now, so he is now fighting off both of them.
And he grabs off the wall, it's like a star or a bird.
Yeah, it's like a ceramic bird. That
throws
it like a throwing star.
And sticks it in the nurse zombie's head, at which point the head falls back like a Pez dispenser again. And now the zombie's walking like that.
It is so fucked up.
He's able to grab both zombies, shove them into the basement, and lock the door.
Yes.
Paquita comes downstairs and goes, oh, where's your mom? He's like, she's at the hospital.
Yeah.
Doesn't tell her about anything. Just goes, meh, she's at the hospital.
Oh my god. I mean, for this movie, you don't really have to, but like, why wouldn't you tell her? Why wouldn't you tell anyone?
She's like, meh, she's at the hospital, and she's like, oh, okay. She's like, I didn't hear the ambulance. He's like, oh, she went in the nurse's car.
Yeah.
There's also not blood all over the floor.
Yeah.
A woman's head just got ripped off like a fucking Pez dispenser, and there's no blood.
Oh boy.
And so now he's just like sitting there, and she's like, okay, well, are we going to go to the hospital? And he doesn't answer her question. He just goes to the other room and sits and like listens to the radio and like smiles. And she like looks at him and then just like gets fed up and leaves.
Actually, yeah, at that point, the something in the radio says like, I think you should go. And she's like, well, fine. And she leaves, which is like, what? Okay.
It's pure fucking insanity. This movie
so insane.
is like a fucking fever dream.
I can't tell if we're going to talk about this for 15 minutes because we're going to blow through it, or if we're going to talk about it for 3 hours because it's so insane.
It's such fucking insanity.
Yeah, it is great.
Honestly, rather than going like tit for tat, I just want to talk about all the fucking crazy scenes in the movie.
Yeah, we don't really need. There's no super linear plot.
No, it's just like, so eventually he goes to a Nazi doctor.
Oh my god.
He goes to a veterinary clinic.
It is so
to
funny.
get sedatives because he decides like he has to sedate these zombies because they keep trying to attack him.
Yeah.
So he goes to this thing and there's like a classic like Nazi like Colonel Klink looking doctor. He has like a monocle and shit on.
He's got a German accent, and
he has a German accent.
Late 50s, so like maybe he's an escaped Nazi, which was kind of like, I thought like, oh, that's kind of funny.
Until he goes to him, he's like,
he's wearing a lab coat.
He's wearing a lab coat, and he goes to him, oh, I'm looking to buy sedatives, and he goes, sedatives? I don't have any of those for sale. And you're like, okay. He's like, but tranquilizers I do have.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, cool. And he grabs this bottle of tranquilizers,
like,
he rips his lab coat, and there's a fucking swastika armband that he's wearing underneath. Like, this guy wears a lab coat, and then wears his full Nazi SS regalia underneath it, like all the time.
Just every day he's wearing his Nazi uniform.
Like, just like, yeah.
Smart move.
Yeah, just, yeah. It's insane. This movie's so insane.
It's insane.
So he starts sedating the zombies. He ends up at one point, he's sedating zombies. His mother breaks out of the basement, gets hit by a trolley, and now it's like, okay, now she's dead, according... and you won't see it, but I'm doing dead in quotation marks with my fingers.
Oh, but here's the weird part. She breaks out, and she just walks past... She, like, walks between two people. Like,
get to him.
Is she just getting to him? So, what are zombies in this movie?
Just trying to get to him.
Yeah. So weird. Oh, my God. It's so amazing. So, yeah, so she gets to him. And
at that point, she gets hit by a fucking trolley.
And she
goes flying through the window of the store.
Which doesn't make sense.
Everybody like looks at her and like he sneakily stabs her like with a needle with sedatives in it and sedates her, and then everybody thinks she's dead now.
Yes.
And now it cuts to the a funeral procession at like the graveyard, and the priest is there.
And he's like, he keeps asking to see the body, but I don't think he should.
Yeah, but that the son keeps asking to see the body, Lionel keeps asking.
Clearly he wants to see it so he can keep it sedated.
So he can keep it sedated.
Yeah.
Which brings up a good point of what was his fucking plan during this entire thing.
He doesn't have a plan.
He just wants to keep these zombies sedated, which doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
Yeah.
He hasn't tried to kill one.
No.
Nor does he try and kill one until the very end of the movie.
He doesn't try to kill them at all.
He just... It's like, oh, I'll just stab it with a needle and sedate them the entire time.
Even if you're like, I don't want to kill my mother... Could you imagine sedating your mother and having her live, being buried alive?
If my mother was like that, I would want to kill her, though. She was an asshole.
Yeah, well, of course. But I'm saying, like, he's not doing a good deed by burying her alive.
No, and now he sneaks into where the body is.
Yeah, he does dig her up later, or he tries to dig her up later. So
yeah,
I fucked up.
He sneaks into where the body is. And, but he tries to dig her up to sedate her.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah. So,
maybe to drag her off, I don't know.
So, he sneaks into where the body is, and it's hooked up to, like, this crazy involvement machine with, like, a giant gear.
I thought it had to be the Nazi guy.
And shit. I thought it was going to be the Nazi guy, too. And the body, they show the body, and it's, like, inflating, like a fucking balloon. Filled with this embalming fluid. And now, like, two guys come down the hallway, like, the funeral director, I guess, and, like, his assistant, which the assistant to the funeral director is Peter Jackson
Yes.
himself.
Yeah.
Looks nothing like fat Peter Jackson like we're used to.
No, yeah, I didn't
recognize him until the very end of the movie where it said that it was Peter Jackson.
Also, Anthony Hopkins is in this movie.
Was he really?
No, he wasn't.
I was going to say.
That would be so amazing.
At the end, there is a character, and it's played by someone named Tony Hopkins. And I had to pause the credits and rewind it back. And I said to Casey, was Anthony fucking Hopkins in this movie?
It would be so amazing if he was just like friends with Peter Jackson. And he's like, sure, I'll be in your movie. Whatever.
And I was like, because I honestly do not remember seeing... Here we go. Tony Hopkins played a person named Winston. Yeah, he's only known for Dead Alive.
Okay.
And The Frighteners.
Yeah, and some other like.
And the movie 1984.
Okay.
But The Frighteners, he was just a hospital patient. In 1984, he was a production manager. And that was it.
So he's not Anthony Hopkins, unfortunately.
It's not Anthony Hopkins.
That would have been so amazing. I would have loved that if they like snuck a little cameo in by him.
So,
oh yeah.
So the funeral director, now the body's filled up with this green fluid, and it starts just shooting green fucking embalming fluid all over the fucking room.
Like, this is a huge mistake to make in a funeral home.
And Peter Jackson reaches over and grabs his sandwich, which is covered in embalming fluid, and starts to eat it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now I recognize him. Because recognizing him eating that, I can now see it. Okay. Yep. That's funny.
So the priest is now doing his thing in the church, doing like his monologue.
Like, oh, she was a great mother and she had to raise a son with no father.
But he's saying it very angry.
He sounds so angry and we don't know why.
He sounds so fucking pissed off the entire time. You have no idea why. And now the mother comes back alive and he's trying to fight her.
To sedate her.
Yeah. Lionel's trying to fight her to sedate her in the back room. And they end up crashing into the funeral home.
Yeah.
Into like the church through a glass door.
And like assumedly he had sedated her because now she's not moving, so I guess they just assume that he loves her so much.
And like he hugs the body, like to cover it up, he like hugs the body like, oh, I miss her so much. And they're like, well, that was a weird way of grieving. They say like after the thing. And Paquita comes up. And he just, like, kind of, like, ignores her and, like, walks away.
Yeah.
To which now he tries to dig up the body at nighttime to sedate it again.
Yes.
I don't know whether to drag it away. I like to think his idea is he's just going to dig up the body
every
sedate
night.
it, and then bury it again, and then dig it up and sedate it and bury it
I would love it if that was his plan.
I would like that to be his plan.
He had no plan, clearly, so that's just as good as plan as any.
And he's there, like, with a shovel and stuff trying to dig up the body, and, like, these 1950s, like, street thug hooligans come.
All drinking, like, bottles of whiskey with leather jackets on and shit.
And they, like, grab him and imply he's there to have sex with some of those bodies.
You're a real sicker, aren't you?
Yeah, and so they take him, they grab him, they beat him up, and now one of the guys goes over and pisses on the guy's mother's grave.
He's like, that's my mother!
And he's like, that's my mother! And a hand
so he
shoots out from the fucking grave, grabs the guy's dick and pulls him down.
Yeah.
And, like, the face comes out, and he's like, oh, my, zombie!
Yeah,
the only time you hear zombie mentioned
zombie.
in this entire movie.
So weird. It was so weird to hear it.
And now blood just starts shooting up from the thing. The mother's, like, eating his rib cage. You don't see that at first, though. I thought she was eating his dick.
Yes, which I'm sure was
part
implied. Of it. Yeah, that's implied.
And so now blood's shooting up all over the place. And now the mother comes out of the grave.
Yeah, like he goes like flying then, doesn't he?
Yeah, he goes
she
flying.
Like throws
crazy.
him. He goes flying. People go flying so much in this movie.
The mother comes out of the thing.
Zombies are so strong.
And bites like two of the other guys. So now there's 4 zombies, including the mother. Yeah. And he's getting like backed into a corner. And the priest comes out.
He's like, what in God's name?
What in God's name is going on? And he's like, stand back, son. It's time for some divine intervention. And he jumps down, and he's a fucking karate priest.
It is like a full minute of just fucking karate
Kung
priest.
Fu fighting.
Him just throwing roundhouses and like hitting these zombies. It is so cool.
In the middle of it, he says, I kick ass for the Lord. The greatest line to be
so
uttered
good.
in this movie.
Yeah,
is I kick ass for the Lord.
I can't even remember the specifics of everything he does.
It's at one point he rips off the one part I do remember is he puts the one zombie in like an arm lock, rips off its arm, beats another zombie with the ripped off arm, grabs the zombie with the ripped off arm again on the other arm, rips off that arm. Beats the zombie up again, kicks its legs off, so now it's just like a stump on the ground.
He does like a leg sweep kick and just kicks the legs right off.
Now the zombie's just like on the ground like a stump, and he roundhouse kicks the head off. It goes flying in the air, and it lands on the priest's neck and bites him.
Straight up into the air and then lands on the priest's neck.
And fucking bites him.
It's so amazing.
Yeah, it was So now the priest turns into... Well, now, after that, the priest does like a flying kick, misses, and lands on a fucking statue with its finger pointed up in the air and impales the priest, and the priest goes, and dies. In which point now Lionel sedates his mother and apparently grabs the priest zombie and drags them back to the house.
I guess he drags all of them, because there was like one he drags back. Like,
and then he drags back the one that got its dick / ribs eaten.
Yeah, so he drags all of these people sedated back to his house.
Drags them all back to his house.
No one notices, whatever.
Nobody notices anything. And now it shows the outside of his house, and his outside of his house now looks insane.
It's like
because it's covered with fucking like boards and metal sheathing.
Yeah,
and,
it looks like a post-apocalyptic like battle zone.
It looks like you're trying to keep zombies out, not keep them inside.
Yeah, it's so weird to do in like 1 day's time.
It's fucking insane.
This movie's insane. Oh boy, where do we go next?
The uncle comes over.
Oh yeah, he's got.
Wait, here's the most disgusting scene that I saw you almost throw up at when he feeds the zombies mac and cheese.
Oh god, this is so bad.
So he gets mac and cheese and he's pouring sedative in it, and he's trying to feed these zombies mac and cheese, and the nurse zombie takes the spoon and eats in her mouth, and then
it just
mac and cheese oozes out of her Pez dispenser neck.
It just is like coming out. It is so gross.
To which then he knocks her head backwards and just kind of takes the spoon and spoons mac and cheese into her esophagus hole.
Throat. It is so fucking visceral.
It was insane.
I was like covering my face like, oh god, please stop. But also, please keep going.
The 1950s, greaser zombie doesn't know how to use a spoon.
He's like, no, use a spoon.
Shoves it through the back of his head. In which point, the mother takes the mac and cheese that was on the spoon that now went through the back of his head, takes it and eats it.
This movie is just complete chaos.
And now the priest zombie starts making out with the nurse zombie.
Oh yeah,
he rubs her leg, her inner thigh, and starts like kissing her. And they're like, "Hey, knock it off!"
Like, no,
and he breaks it off. And now somebody's knocking on the door, and it's the fucking scumbag uncle who has like genital warts on his face.
He looks disgusting.
He's like this big fat guy, and he has like genital warts on his fucking face.
Yeah.
And they just get worse throughout the movie. In the beginning, they weren't that bad, and then they like spread all over his face.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. And he comes in, and he's like, "Oh, I have a urinary infection." A weird thing to say. Number one.
I think that was to get inside so he can go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And he goes to the bathroom, and then he starts talking about how he wants to bang Lionel's girlfriend, wants to bang Paquita.
He's also talking about, he's like, oh, your mother said, we were talking, and she said she wanted to give me some money, basically.
But she died so suddenly she never got to write it in the will. And he's like, well, you need to do that, with the lawyers. And he's like, lawyers? We don't have to do it with the lawyers, it's family.
Yeah.
Don't get the lawyers involved.
And then you start hearing some noise from the back.
And then you hear fucking sexual moaning coming from the back room.
You hear some noises.
Where the zombies are banging.
And he's like, oh, no. Like, Lionel runs to block him from going. And he's like, no, those are the pipes. They're just acting up.
And he's like, that's not pipes.
He's
People
like, that's
are shagging.
not pipes. Yeah, he's like...
And so now he's like, no, he's still blocking the door.
Yeah.
And it's very obvious what's going on in the back room now.
Like, we know.
And he's like, oh, what, did you find your father's old
stag tapes?
Old stag tapes? And he's like, yeah, yes. And he's like, is it the one with the chambermaid and the donkey?
Yeah.
Apparently this guy has also seen Lionel's father's stag tapes.
So weird. Weird.
He goes... there's some things men should do on their own, right, boy? And slaps him on the shoulder, and then leaves.
Does he say something like, I don't know, whatever. So he leaves.
Leaves at that point, and,
So
I'm putting my head in my
he's got his head in his hands.
Because this movie's so fucking insane. I love it.
It's so good.
It's nuts. So now, it shows the zombies all in the basement, and the nurse zombie is pregnant now.
Well, Lionel opens the door, and you see they're kind of doing it.
Yeah,
and
now it cuts to them in the basement, and the zombie nurse is pregnant. Apparently the gestation period for a zombie baby is like 2 hours.
Yeah,
because she's fully pregnant, and so you see that she like falls off the chair like on the floor, and it looks like she's gonna give birth.
Yeah,
and now it cuts to Lionel walking down the street, and Paquita sees him.
Yeah,
a trolley goes by.
Hold on, she's been trying to like
talk
to him. They only had like one date, and she is like obsessed with him at this point because of the tarot cards. Yeah.
Because of tarot cards. So guys out there,
she's obsessed with this fucking weird guy.
So guys out there, if you're weird, try and get hooked up with tarot cards.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because this woman,
if you're a creep but you know tarot, you're gonna get some.
You're gonna get these women to fall in love with you because of tarot cards. So like a trolley goes. She sees him and she's like, Lionel, and a trolley goes by, and like
you think he's gonna like hop on and
you
like
think he's gonna like
disappear.
hop on and disappear, and the trolley goes by and he is disappeared.
I was like, it would be funny if he was just still standing there and didn't hop on the trolley.
So the trolley goes by, he's disappeared, but then the car moves that was behind the trolley, and he's just cowering behind the car.
It's
And
so
she
good.
comes over and she's like, I was trying to call you and I came and knocked on the door and you didn't answer and blah, 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 blah. And you haven't talked to me and what's going on? And he's like, oh, leave me alone, blah, 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 blah. And
yeah, he's like holding arms, like, please leave me alone. Like,
yeah, like, please leave me alone.
Something or whatever.
And then the guy from the beginning
Who
that
she-
she
who
was
she-
falling all over
that she
comes
liked.
over and he fucking punches him right in the face.
Yeah.
He starts bleeding out his nose. A trash can gets knocked over top of him.
Yeah.
And he's like, you stay away from her.
Oh, man.
Also, somewhere in there, she brings him with the to the tarot card gypsy, and the gypsy goes through like the tarot cards.
Oh, yeah.
At some point during this movie,
At
I
some
don't
point.
remember
Probably
where
before
it was.
this.
But and she's like, "Oh, there's death all around you. Keep this amulet," and that was the thing with the star and the moon symbol.
Yes.
And this will keep you safe.
Which, like...
Comes into play really,
not really
not
true.
really during the movie. All it really helps him find is a dead woman's corpse inside of a trunk.
Yes, in his attic.
In his attic.
Yeah. That's it? What? I don't know how that keeps him safe. I
have
guess
no
maybe
idea.
for his final revelation and his final battle.
So, oh yeah, and it helps him cut himself out of his mother's womb.
Yes.
Also happens at the end of the movie.
Yes, it
We'll
does.
Get to that,
And
when
we're gonna
get to the end.
we'll get to that in detail because I loved it.
It was insane. So,
So yeah,
so now, like,
Oh, yeah.
so now, like, he goes back to the house. And he's like, oh, let me turn on the radio. And a fucking hand comes out of the radio, like a little baby hand. It's a fucking zombie baby.
it's a zombie baby.
The greatest zombie in
why
the
was
entire
he in the
movie.
radio? But
No
yeah,
one
oh no,
knows.
he is the best. He is the most fun zombie character
And he's like,
there is.
oh, and like baby like tries to attack him, and like he hits the baby with something. The next scene is him walking the baby through a park in a fucking stroller.
He's got like an old timey stroller that the baby
why?
is in.
Why
is he doing this?
Why does he have the baby in a stroller?
Does he think the baby needs like fresh air or something?
Why?
It's a zombie baby.
And he's like a bumbling idiot with this thing. He's like knocking it over.
Yeah.
He's fucking tripping over
He's like
shit.
making sure people don't look into it.
He's like, you see a quick shot from like the baby's point of view, and he put like barbed wire over the front where the baby is,
Yeah.
so like the baby can't get out.
Yeah,
and he's sitting on like a bench,
and he's like-
watching like this other woman with her baby, and
she's-
he's like trying to mimic
Yeah,
it.
she like pushes the stroller back and forth,
But like gently, to, like
gently.
try and get the baby to go to sleep. He looks at it and starts doing it really fucking
He starts
aggressively.
like jerking it back and forth, and then she's like, "Oh," she looks at it, she's like, "Oh, sweetie, oh, here's your baby, here's your teddy bear," and he like goes to hand the thing to teddy bear, and he like starts tearing it up, and he's like freaking out and like grabbing at this baby, and it's
And then, like, the baby, the stroller goes flying down the hill at this point.
Yeah.
It tips over. The zombie baby comes out and starts crawling all over the place.
at some points it's a doll, like when he's throwing it around. At some points it's like
It's like
either a little person in a costume or just a man in a costume.
it's either a
like
midget in a
weird close
costume
up.
or a man in a costume.
Yes.
Crawling
It
around.
looks so weird.
Crawling towards like other children, he runs over and grabs it, and it starts to try and attack him, and he just fucking punches it in the face like 8 times.
He's in the
while
middle
other
of a
people
park.
Are watching. Women are watching this, and a homeless man is there that's drunk.
Oh,
And
yes.
he goes, yeah!
Yeah, as he's punching the baby.
Punching the fucking baby in the head.
The homeless
And this
man's
homeless
got
man
like a
goes,
bottle of booze.
Yeah!
And he's like, yeah! So
And
great.
so now, like, the baby's still trying to tackle it. He's smacking the baby up
He's
against
like-
a pole.
It's like in Austin Powers when Austin Powers is fighting Mini-Me. It's that,
It's that, but with-
it's a baby in a park around other people.
It's insane! And, like, nobody says anything to him.
Nothing.
Eventually, he beats the shit out of his baby so much, he gets it shoved into a bag and, like, walks away with his baby in, like, a backpack.
Yeah,
now.
just like in like a truffle bag, a duffel bag.
And nobody questions it.
No one's like, hey, buddy, don't do that.
Nobody finds this insane at all.
No, but it is insane.
Yeah, it's
And
completely
like, why
insane.
did he take this baby out?
What was his plan?
There's-
I want to know what his plan was.
There's no way drugs were involved in this making, or Peter Jackson's just like,
Or Peter Jackson is the
fucking lunatic.
greatest mind of all time.
yeah,
He's up there
or
with,
lunatic.
He's up there
a
with
lunatic.
L. Ron Hubbard. Right up there with Scientology. Everybody should make a religion following.
I just had to not do a spit take all over our equipment.
Everybody,
when you said L. Ron Hubbard.
Everyone should create a religion following Peter Jackson right now.
Yes, and this movie.
And this movie specifically.
I'll follow it. I'll go to your church.
Fuck Scientology.
I'll go to your church.
It should be, I don't know what it would be called, but something with Peter Jackson. The whole movie is incredible.
It's great.
Peter Jackson is the greatest movie director of all time.
Have we sucked his dick enough yet?
This movie cements it.
Yeah.
How great he is.
He's great.
If you watch Lord of the Rings and you're like, this is an okay movie, watch this fucking movie and you'll love Peter Jackson.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Or if you watch Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you love Lord of the Rings, watch this movie. You'll love him even more.
Yeah. Or you might hate this movie because it is so fucking bizarre.
It's the complete opposite of Lord of the Rings.
There's no possible way to have any mixed feelings on this movie.
It's either you'll love it or you'll hate it. And if you hate it, you're an idiot.
Yes. Or you'll just be so sick that you can't watch it, which I almost got to many times. I was like many times like, maybe I should take a bathroom break now and just like splash some cold water on my face. Because I can't see fucking macaroni and cheese pouring out of this nurse's neck anymore. I need a break.
So at some point, the uncle comes over, and he finds the bodies in the basement. And he's like, I'm going to call the cops.
Yeah.
And he calls the cops. And Lionel's like, well, what do you want, like, not to call the cops? And he's like, oh, I hate to call the cops on you, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, I'd like to report a multiple murder. And he goes, yes, I'll hold. Like, he calls the police, he calls 911, and he goes, hey, listen, there's a multiple murder going on. And they're like, all right, yeah, now, hold on for a couple minutes. Not
hold
like,
on.
What? They're
like, oh, shit.
Yeah, hold on. And he's like, oh, I'll give you the house and money. And he's like, okay.
So he just hangs up the phone.
He just hangs up the phone. Cops never come to the house.
I don't know if that was... I know now you couldn't do that. I don't know if they did it in the 50s, but it seems suspicious to report a multiple murder, and then the cops would be like, well, he did hang up, so it's probably fine. He's probably safe.
So it's an entire thing. So now the uncle invites all these people over for a party.
Yeah.
And he's like, get rid of the bodies in the basement. He's using like Lionel like a slave. He's like, make sandwiches for everybody and get rid of the bodies in the basement. And
so Lionel's walking around with like a tray
with,
of food for everybody.
And a girl takes a sausage off the tray and it's like, this tastes good. Do you have anything else I can nibble on? And you're like, well, this took a weird turn.
Yeah. Everyone in this party is like despicable humans.
Yeah, and so
oh boy. Oh boy.
This party,
I'm sweating. My face is so red right now.
This party is an insane thing all on its own.
Oh yeah.
So Paquita now comes over. She's walking by with her new boyfriend, who just talks about rugby all the time. The only thing he talks about is rugby.
Yeah,
whenever they show him, he's talking about rugby.
Yeah, he's just talking about rugby, and you can tell she does not like him.
And she's walking by and sees like this big party going on.
And she's like, "What the fuck? He's been ignoring me, and now he's having a party."
And she goes in to investigate.
So she just disappears. She's like, and I love that she goes in. Disappears. He like looks around and then just keeps walking.
And he's like,
yeah, whatever. He
just keeps walking.
He doesn't call her name once.
And now Lionel's downstairs, like with the dead bodies, like trying to sedate them again, and like, now Paquita comes downstairs and he's like, "Oh, Paquita."
Well, first, the uncle tries to rape Paquita. Is that
not entirely? First, he just is heavily hitting on Paquita.
First, he's just sexually harassing her.
Yeah, just straight up sexually harassing her. Then she goes in the basement and he's like, "Oh, Paquita."
Yeah, she like kicks him in the balls, which happens a lot to him.
Oh my god, this guy's whole character arc is that he gets kicked in the balls over and over and over again.
Yeah,
he's a despicable human, and then he just gets kicked in the balls like 5 times.
Yeah, which is fine.
Both by regular people's feet. At one point, the zombie baby takes a dismembered leg and hits him in the balls with it. At one point, the zombie baby himself gets smashed into the man's balls.
Did he really? Oh man.
Yep.
I must have missed that.
After they tried to put the baby in the blender. Yes, they tried to put a baby in a blender.
Yes,
and she turns it on. It flies out of the blender.
Hold on. She puts the baby in the blender and goes to turn it on and like has a second of doubt, and then it like spits like pus out and like mucus on her, and then she smiles and turns it on and smiles, and it jumps out onto the lamp.
And then it jumps out on the lamp. The lamp falls back down. It lands in the blender, and it like grinds up its ass for like a second.
Yeah.
And then it shoots out of there. He like jumps at her. She punches it in the face. It flies through the window and hits the uncle right in the balls.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Hits him right in the fucking balls.
Yeah, that baby was the best.
The baby then he tries to cut off the baby's head with a pair of hedge clippers, misses, and the baby goes, hey, 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 and runs away. That's the baby's laugh. Literally, the baby's laugh is, hey, 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 and you'll hear it non-fucking stop.
It keeps happening, and it's something I would be annoyed by normally, but I was never sick of it because it was so silly.
Oh my god. So,
So eventually, she finds her way to the basement.
So this is way after she finds her way to the basement. But so she finds her way to the basement. She finds out that the bodies are around. She's like, "Oh, these aren't your this isn't your mother anymore. You have to kill these things." So he finds a bottle just marked poison in the basement.
It's just a big jug that says poison on it.
Poison. Doesn't look at anything else on it, and just starts injecting these zombies with poison.
Yes.
And apparently there was a hole in the basement already.
He buries them in the
basement. She goes back upstairs, to which point, now, the uncle tries and rapes her.
Yes.
He's like, "Oh, you fucking bitch," and grabs her and shoves her in this back room.
And they're in a party full of people and no one's stopping
No one stops it at all. He shoves her in a back room, and it gets really, really aggressive at this point.
Yeah.
It cuts back down to Lionel on the floor.
Oh yeah, he trips or something, right?
Yeah, he trips and falls.
Knocks the bottle of poison and it rolls around a little bit.
And he looks on the back of the poison and it says,
what is it?
"Animal."
Oh yeah, hold on. Oh no, I didn't write it down.
It says...
Oh no, yeah. It says poison on one side, and on the other side it says animal stimulant, not for human consumption.
Yeah, animal stimulant.
What the fuck does that mean?
Which apparently makes these zombies into fucking super zombies.
Yeah.
They shoot out of the grave like fucking Michael Jackson.
Yes.
They leap up out of the grave. They come out to molest little children.
Yes.
So these zombies come out. And he tries to get away, and now they're super zombies.
Oh man!
And he gets out of he's banging on the door because the uncle locked him inside, and he's banging on the door. Somebody lets him in, lets him in the thing. He closes the door again. He's like, "Get away from the door!" At which point, one of the zombies busts down the door, lands on top of this guy, and bites his face. Now there's zombies loose in the party.
Yes, now
all hell breaks loose.
Now it's just becoming chaos.
Now it's just crazy fucking chaos scenes.
It's great.
One guy gets the top of his head ripped off.
Yeah.
One guy gets his face ripped off of his
Oh
his
yeah,
body.
just his face, so he's just got a skeleton head basically.
The zombie grabs the top of his scalp and just pulls up, and instead of ripping off his head, it just scalps him.
Like a ski mask.
His entire face is off.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's this whole thing.
One man gets the bottom half of his body eaten, so just skeleton bones
yeah.
on the bottom half of his body kicking around.
Yeah. If we actually did a full analysis of this, last 20 minutes, we could do that forever because it is so good.
I mean,
it is so many good kills.
So one of the kills, Paquita grabs a zombie, slams it onto a lamp in the other room,
oh, yeah.
and the zombie lights up like a fucking jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, her head lights up.
The head lights up orange like a jack-o'-lantern.
And so she's just stuck on the wall with a lit head, but still alive or dead or whatever.
One of the zombies punches through a screaming woman's head.
Oh yeah, from the back.
His fist goes through her mouth. At which point, it's obviously a sex doll that is on this man's arm, and he's walking around.
It's so funny walking around with this sex doll, basically, or definitely a sex doll, walking around grabbing at people.
The uncle
oh my God.
is now outside because Paquita kicked him in the dick again, and he falls outside, and now he's in the shed, and he grabs the zombie priest's head and starts pulling out his teeth with a pair of pliers one by one, which would take a very long time to pull out all of the zombie's teeth.
I guess not to have him bite you, but
I have no fucking clue.
You're in a shed, there's probably other options. He was saying dumb one-liners too,
he's like, "Oh, you got some cavities there. Let's look at the plaque." And rips out the zombie's fucking teeth one by one. Then he gets a pair of hedge clippers and just starts chopping off the top of the zombies' heads. But they're still alive. He chops off the heads, and still, at this point, you're realizing nothing is going to kill these zombies.
Yeah, they can't be killed.
One zombie upstairs, the 1950s zombie, gets cut in half. And then the top half of his body goes into the bathroom where Lionel is. Yeah. At which point, his intestines and everything start falling out, which also turn into a zombie.
Yes, his intestines are now a separate zombie.
These things also turn into a zombie. And he tries to get away. He climbs up into the attic from this zombie.
Yeah.
The intestine zombie climbs onto the sink and looks at itself, and romantic music plays.
Beautiful, swelling romantic music plays as this zombie intestine just looks at itself longingly in the mirror. What?
Why, Peter Jackson?
Why? Why did you do that? What point were you trying to make?
Please, Peter Jackson, listen to this podcast.
Please.
And please send us a tweet and explain why you fucking did this.
Explain one thing in the movie. Anything. Your choice.
One thing.
Explain one thing.
Please. Please do so. So at this point is where the amulet, he's up in the attic and he drops the amulet, and it spins around like a fucking crazy top, and points to this chest that he opens up, and he's looking through the chest, and there's pictures of his father and another woman that's not his mother. And, like, the one picture, he has, like, a big, like, sausage that he's, like, seductively, like, putting in this woman's mouth and stuff.
It's so weird.
It's so weird. And then,
in a case with a skeleton.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you see that there's a dead woman's skeleton in this case.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a second, that mother murdered this bitch.
Yeah.
Like, you start to put two and two
You've
together.
seen before, like, some of his flashbacks are, like, a woman drowning with, like, blonde hair, so you know something's up, you're not totally sure what it is, but you definitely know something's up. So, okay, so the intestines, I'll just call them tentacles, break through the chest and start grabbing at his feet, like pulling him down. So they like pull him through the floorboard, or where do they pull? He
falls through the floorboard and then gets tangled up in the wire. That's like hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
No. Alright, so what happens is he has his foot tangled in the wire up in the ceiling first, then he falls through the thing, and it pulls the zombie. So at this point, the zombie that's a lantern, that looks like a fucking jack-o'-lantern, is like walking away from the wall, like it's pulled away like the wire from the wall.
Yeah.
But that wire is attached up in the ceiling to where Lionel is, and he falls through the thing, and it sucks the zombie back up on the wall, and he's hanging upside down in the middle of the room, and all the zombies see him, and they all start walking over to him. And now the intestine zombie
is above
wraps
him
around his leg and starts pulling him up to the ceiling, like to try and bite him. How does he get away, do you ask? He eats through the fucking intestine.
Oh, yeah.
He takes the intestine and bites through it.
Bites through it.
To get away from the fucking zombie. Because, that's what would make the most sense to do. Let me eat this intestine to get the fuck away.
And what teeth are the intestines going to use? How are the teeth going to bite him? What are the intestines going to do?
I have no idea.
Oh, man.
So now, Lionel, like, gets away. He now busts in the front door with a lawnmower.
Oh, yeah.
And with a lawnmower strapped around, like, tied, like, with a rope around his waist, and starts up the lawnmower, and just starts walking through the crowd of zombies with the lawnmower. It just starts...
Just viscera
making
everywhere.
These zombies into, like, fucking paste.
Yeah.
He walks all the way through. First off, I want to know what brand lawnmower this is, because I try and cut my grass, and the grass is a little too long. It stalls out like 52 times.
If it rains and the grass is a little wet, you're going to have to keep restarting it.
Not this lawnmower.
Nope.
Chops up fucking bodies just fine.
Right through bone and everything.
And then he's like, oh shit, that didn't chop up that many zombies. And he turns around, and he just walks through the crowd again with the lawnmower. He does it like 4 or 5 times, until finally, there's just... blood and viscera all over the floor. All the zombies are all chopped up, except for 1950 zombie.
Yeah, who's up the stairs and pushes himself off the ground and flies through the air on top of him and knocks him down.
And he takes him, and he knocks him down. He gets him on top of the lawnmower blades,
which stopped working.
Which stopped working at this point. It like stalled out. He gets him on top of the lawnmower blades and can't reach the pull start for the lawnmower. So what does he do? He grabs a dismembered zombie arm, of course,
and uses that
to pull it. And then the zombie is fucking spinning around on the thing.
Yeah.
One of the zombie's intestines comes out and wraps around his neck.
Yeah.
And now he's like getting pulled into where the 1950 zombie, like he's getting pulled into the lawnmower.
Because the zombie's just spinning, he's not getting chopped up.
He's not getting chopped up.
So he
grabs the zombie's arm and holds him still so he gets chopped up in the thing.
Oh, man.
Also part of this movie... there's like a good 30 seconds where he just runs in place on zombie blood.
Yeah, that was so fucking slapsticky.
He's running like to try and get away from the zombies,
and he's just running in place,
and it zooms down to his feet,
and his feet are just slipping, and he's just trying to run in place like on
and now
ice
it shows
with
him
his
again,
blood.
And he's still trying to run away. Really, now he tries to run faster. Eventually, he figures out I have to step on the dismembered zombie parts.
Yeah, he's like leapfrogging from head to head to get away. So good.
Now all the zombies are pretty much dead. And Paquita comes in, she's like, oh, and they're like gonna kiss, but they're all both covered in like fucking tons of blood.
Yeah.
It's insane. Paquita has now liquefied a bunch of zombies inside inside the blender.
Yeah, whilst he's doing that, she's just like taking body parts and just like liquefying them in the blender.
So now she's like, oh, let's, and he's like, no, you leave. He's like, I haven't seen Mum yet. At which point, the mother comes and busts out of the basement, and she's like this giant fucking naked monster.
Yeah.
Whoever did the visual effects in this movie, first off,
oh, bravo.
fucking fantastic.
So good.
It was insane. This is like a giant puppet. All of the effects in this movie are practical effects.
Yeah, which is great.
Which is fantastic.
There was a lot of like nice miniatures in the beginning.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff like that. It was
everything
good.
in this. There's no cheesy CGI. Peter Jackson.
Which I mean, it would have been harder in '92.
Well, it would have been really cheesy CGI in '92, especially with what the budget for this movie was.
Yeah.
But they did like full size practical effects when they could.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And now it's like this giant naked mother.
The mother is like, so she's like, I don't know, 10 feet tall. She isn't naked, so she has massive naked zombie breasts.
And like a giant
big
stomach.
protruding stomach. She's got like this disgusting, like kind of rat face, but kind of human. And it is horrifying. She got big claws.
And she walks up the stairs. They show this giant thing walking up the stairs. I was impressed at whoever was controlling this thing.
Yeah, it was nice.
And him and Paquita run into the room. At this point, part of the room is on fire.
Oh yeah, something happened.
Because the zombie baby was inside of a woman.
Oh yeah.
So the zombie baby comes back at one point, and he rips open a woman's face
from the inside.
Zombie baby face, but he's inside.
How did he get inside her head? Like he didn't bust through her head. He was in her head and just tears her head apart. Did he climb inside her and up her head?
The world may never know.
Peter Jackson, tweet at us.
It's like,
what
how
are you
many
doing?
licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
How does a zombie baby get inside a woman's head?
Also, if you know how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop,
yeah, Peter
send
Jackson.
us a tweet.
Only Peter Jackson.
Yeah, I don't want to hear from the rest of you plebeians.
Yeah, we don't need you going out and doing that. Don't go do that. But Peter Jackson, that's good. That's a good use of your time.
Peter Jackson, stop whatever you're doing. Check out how many licks it takes.
Unless you're making Dead Alive 2.
And please do.
Oh, please do.
Please go on crowdfunding because I will crowdfund that movie.
Ooh, boy, you get all my money.
So they go out the window. Apparently, the bottom floors were on fire, so they climb up the chimney.
Yeah.
The zombie mother now speaks English as well.
She
smashes through the roof.
Why
they're
was
up on the roof.
so different than the rest of them?
And she's like, "Come to mommy," and she's like, "You were always such a good boy.
No one will ever love you like your mommy."
Yeah, and she takes him. And he gets shoved into...
Yeah, her stomach opens up.
So he gets shoved into her fucking womb.
Yeah.
And it sucks back up. And then and then she yells at Paquita. She's like, "Slut!" And
Yeah,
tries to knock Paquita off the roof with her crazy long, talon fingernails.
Yeah, and she's Paquita's now holding onto a pipe. And she's taking her big fingernails and slowly peeling back Paquita's hands to make her fall.
And now at which point... Lionel cuts himself out from the womb with the crazy
the star and
moon necklace. Cuts himself out. There's fucking blood everywhere.
So
There's
great.
Gallons of fucking blood, and he gets birthed out of her stomach.
It's like a
and
rebirth.
It's like a crazy fucking rebirth. Obviously a rebirth. It obviously was.
He gave himself his own C-section.
Yeah. So he comes out of the womb. She falls into the flaming house. Him and Paquita now, for the second movie that we've seen in a row...
The second movie in a row!
a zip line to get off the roof.
zip line away from a burning building.
There's a burning building. They're covered in fucking blood and everything. The fire department pulls up. Nobody asks any questions about what went on.
What happened here?
It's just the fire's going on. The zombie baby is still alive inside.
Yeah, he's in there laughing.
Because they show it, and he's laughing, and then starts crying. And then they just both kiss. He takes the necklace, throws it away.
He starts to throw it and she stops him and then he's like, no.
And he's like, no, fuck that. And he throws it away.
Why?
And then the movie fucking ends.
Yeah.
There's no answer of what happened to the zombie baby.
No.
Are those zombies that were cut up that weren't completely liquefied? Are they still alive?
Because they clearly don't die easily.
Yeah. Are they still alive?
Who knows? And who cares, honestly? Who gives a shit? I'm totally satisfied.
I want to know what happened with the zombie baby. That's my only unanswered question.
That is Dead Alive 1.5. Make that one just about the zombie baby.
I want to know what happened with the zombie baby.
His adorable adventures.
The movie was pure insanity. I loved every second of it.
It was just perfection. I don't think I closed my mouth once. Just mouth on the floor, just in awe of the magic that was this movie. God, I don't even... Jeez.
So
that's the movie.
So a couple of trivia things.
Yeah.
On its initial release in its home turf in New Zealand, this movie earned more per screen than fucking Batman Returns.
Really?
Then Batman Returns.
I like it.
With the Penguin.
Yeah.
This made more movie than fucking Michael Keaton
Yeah.
and fucking
Wow.
Danny DeVito as the Penguin. This movie made more money per screen in New Zealand
That
than
is
that.
very impressive. I mean, I could see, like, you know, national pride, but what a weird thing to happen.
Also, there is not one cut from Peter Jackson's original screenplay, so everything on screen was his insane vision. Not one thing was cut out of it. Not one thing.
Good. It should not have been. He knew what he was doing.
Oh, the rental in Sweden, here touches your thing, and probably other countries, came with supplemental vomit bags. There we go.
That makes sense. Oh, man. Oh, I gotta go on eBay and see if I can find one of those. That'd be a great piece of memorabilia. Yeah.
During the lawnmower scene, movie blood was pumped at 5 gallons per second.
Oh my god!
To show all the blood everywhere.
It was so much. You should say, you said before, but I think you should say how much it made in the U.S.
So in the U.S., this movie, unfortunately, theatrical release, made.
I can give the estimate if you can't find it.
I had it right here.
All right.
It made $242,623.
That's low. That sucks.
Now, like I said before in the beginning, this is not an easy movie to find.
Yeah.
I had to pay just about $50 on Amazon to get this movie
for the DVD.
For the DVD,
the Blu-ray
goes for $120.
Yeah.
Used, the movie still goes for like $40. It's hard to find apparently, but now I own it, and I love it.
Forever. Make copies. Get those out there. Just start mailing copies around. People need to see this movie.
It's insane.
My heart is beating so fast. Jeez, yeah, so...
So Eli Roth once said that Brain Dead, or Dead Alive, Brain Dead is how it's known in other countries, was one of, if not the only film that quenched his bloodlust.
Really?
And that is coming from the man who made fucking Hostel.
Yeah.
The man who made Hostel said that this movie quenched his bloodlust.
This is the only movie that did it for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, well...
here we go. Uncle Les is hit in the crotch 5 separate times during the final act of the film.
Nice.
That's his whole shtick.
That's all he does. Oh, he gets killed by the mother, right? Does she kill him?
Yeah,
through the
goes
dick?
in the basement and she rips his head off.
Like fucking Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat.
Like rips his head off,
like
but leaves like part of his body still attached to his spine.
So his like spine is like a big like weird like tentacle head, and the rest of his body is just like walking like a creature. It is so weird.
And then Paquita kills him by ripping the rest of his spine off and then smashing his head up against the counter and explodes.
Yeah, it just explodes. Oh, man.
Also, the Spanish title of the film literally translates to "Your mother ate my dog," which is what Paquita yelled.
Yeah, which was a great line.
Which is fantastic. I love that the title of the movie was
just a line from the movie.
"Your mother ate my dog." This movie, I cannot speak well enough about this movie.
Yeah, it was just like beautiful perfection in every possible way. And you may be thinking, these two idiots only watch zombie movies, what do they know? But we watch good movies too. We've seen other movies.
I love Joe Dirt. That's a great movie.
Oh yeah, that's great. I loved what are some other shitty movies?
No, we watch actual movies.
Yeah, we appreciate quality cinema. And Abraham Lincoln is not quality cinema. It's a great shitty movie. This is fucking quality cinema.
Yeah, this was
just fantastic. Man, I don't know.
Wait a second.
Okay, what'd you find out?
So at the very beginning of this, we said, "Welcome to episode 3."
Is it not episode 3?
Episode 3, The Phantom Menace.
Oh
Making
yeah,
a Star Wars reference.
Oh, yeah.
How weird it is that this movie actually ties into Star Wars due to the fact that in Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones, Mace Windu goes in the final scene and says, "Party's over," and starts chopping up the droids into small pieces with his lightsaber. In this movie, the uncle says,
"Oh my god!"
Not the uncle, but Lionel says, "Party's over."
When he turns on the chainsaw.
And then turns on the lawnmower.
Oh my fucking god!
And chops up the zombies with a chainsaw.
Oh my god! George Lucas tweeted us if that was on purpose.
It has to
be. That's amazing. Oh my god, that's so amazing. Oh, the Phantom Menace was the third one?
Phantom Menace. No, Phantom Menace was the first one. I think.
Oh, whatever.
Fuck Star Wars.
Fuck those movies. Well, not Star Wars, but those.
Fuck those prequels.
Yeah.
And the new ones.
I like the new ones. Somewhat.
It's oh my god, it's so insane. This movie is fantastic.
I'm watching you scroll through the trivia. It's like
this is here's the thing. This is how impactful this movie is. I'm scrolling through right now what this movie was referenced in.
Yeah. Oh wow.
It was referenced in Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl.
Nice.
How it was referenced in there doesn't say, but apparently it was.
I don't know, but that was a good movie.
It was referenced in Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, that would make sense. I definitely see them having had this movie as an inspiration.
It was referenced in the movie King Kong, also by Peter Jackson.
Oh, really?
He has a cage in the background that says Sumatran rat monkey on it.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Fuck. Oh, man, I kind of want to watch that movie just to see that. Maybe I'll look up a clip.
In the video game Left 4 Dead, there's a lawnmower covered with blood and chunks all around it.
Really? Nice.
Yep.
Man.
In the movie Dead Snow, another zombie movie.
Oh, yeah.
One of the characters is wearing a Brain Dead t-shirt.
Nice. So if you're not getting it at this point, if you like this kind of shit and you haven't seen this movie, you need to. Like, none of the spoilers mattered. It's just...
Go fucking watch it.
Just please watch it.
Don't be an idiot.
If you can find it, please watch it. Like, bootleg it if you don't want to pay for it, or, like, go to your local library and take it out if you can find it, or, like, try to YouTube... Find it!
Just find this movie.
Find this movie and watch it.
Go watch this movie. It is fantastic.
You have to watch it.
I'm looking... Go on IMDb and just look at how impactful this movie was.
I'm actually going to go home and read all the IMDb because we don't have enough time to read it all.
On all of this, it's crazy. It's craziness.
There's so much.
It's
yes, that's how to describe it. Oh boy, I
don't even know what else to say about it. What has not been said already.
Yeah,
it was a fantastic movie. Go out and watch it immediately.
Yes, please.
All
right. So
time for some plugs, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's the end.
I hate to stop talking about this movie.
I know, I really...
Because I could talk about it for way longer, but it's already been an hour and 20 minutes.
Maybe we'll do, like, our year anniversary, we'll rewatch it. Maybe we'll do that sometime.
Live rewatch.
Yes. Oh, we should do commentary.
There we go. We can do a live commentary for our,
we'll do
our 100th episode.
Yeah, we'll do something like that maybe one day in the future. So, yeah, plugs. First of all, follow us at Zomboys Pod on Twitter. Follow us on there. Tweet at if you've seen this movie, tweet at us and tell us how you feel, how you felt when you first watched it. I want to know all of your thoughts.
And if you disagree with me, I will call you an idiot.
Yeah, if you disagree, I'm gonna yell at you. But it'll be fun yelling. But I'm gonna fucking yell at you.
Also, check us out on iTunes now.
Yeah.
So however you're listening to this, so we're on Buzzsprout. Via direct link that we can that we send out on our social media.
Yeah, that's on Twitter. You can find.
We're on iTunes. You can search Zomboys on iTunes, and we're there. Just Zomboys, no apostrophe s, just Zomboys.
Yep.
S.
Yep.
At the end. We're also on the Google Play Store.
Yes.
Searchable on there as well as Zomboys.
Yep.
And then we are also on Stitcher, searchable by Zomboys.
Yeah. So just search Zomboys for us on whatever platform you use, and you will find us. And please subscribe on
whatever platform you're going to use.
One of them, but all of them if you can.
And also, please leave some sort of comments if you like the podcast.
Oh, yeah,
awesome.
that would be great.
If you don't like the podcast, lie and give us 5 stars. Anyway,
yeah, what does it hurt? Don't be an asshole. What does it hurt? Okay, so we're not funny, and we are bad at doing our jobs. But you could be nice, good Samaritan.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so definitely follow us on Twitter. Tell your friends about this podcast. Tell all your friends, even if they hate zombie movies. You can trick them into listening to at least one.
Make them listen to this one. This one's.
You're gonna
by far, I feel like our best one yet.
Yeah, this was great. I think we just had the most fun with this one because we couldn't stop yelling and So there's that. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @ACaseyLynch.
You can follow me on Instagram at @MOlsve.
I have an Etsy shop where I sell weird types of art. So if you like I'm so sorry. If you like weird, crazy zombie movies, you might actually appreciate this art because it's kind of fucking weird. So at least check it out. That's at etsy.com/shop/ACaseyLynch. No, etsy.com /shop/Casey Lynch Studio.
That's how excited he is. He can't even remember his own.
Don't even remember
his
my
own
own
Etsy shop.
store. We'll put all this in the description. All like the links and stuff.
Yeah, check us out. Thank you for listening, everybody. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah,
we released our
hugely
first
appreciated.
Episode out there, and quite a few people have given us some really good really good feedback.
Yeah,
and,
that's
they
really
seem
nice
to
to
be
hear.
enjoying it. And it's really nice to hear. I mean, it's something that we just started as something to do, and
Yeah, we figured it'd be fun.
and figure it would be fun, and it's nice to hear that other people think that we're doing a good job, because I'm enjoying doing it. And even if nobody else listens, I'll keep fucking doing this because it's so much fun.
I can keep doing this. Oh boy, I'm having fun. But yeah, really, thank you for listening, and thank you for loving zombie movies.
And on that, we'll see you next week. We are going to release these weekly. Originally, it was going to be a bi-weekly podcast, but we're having so much fun with it, and we're so excited. It will be a weekly podcast. I'm not going to announce what our next movie is yet. You'll have to just tune in and see. Yeah.
All right.
That's really it. Have a good night, guys, or afternoon, or whenever the fuck you listen to this, because this is not live radio, I just remembered.
No, it is not. This is downloadable.
Yeah.
So don't forget, aim for the head.